My name is Victor Barr. I'm currently an instructor at the University of Washington teaching business policy and strategy management.
Yeah,
We-
my name's Logan Hilgers. I'm currently the interim executive director at Growing Veterans. We empower veterans to cultivate purpose and belonging by growing food, community, and each other. And the vision of that is to end isolation that leads to suicide. I spent 8 years as a public educator. I also spent 21 years in the Army National Guard. And then coaching. I've coached quite a few sports, boxing, basketball, track and field, and baseball. And Blair reached out to me asking if I would endorse this initiative. And as I read through some of it, I just really resonated with it, like presently. And there was like the inner Logan, the inner child Logan, the younger Logan who still lives in me, resonated with some of the things I was reading on there as well. And so I knew that was something that Growing Veterans really needed to endorse. And hopefully we see it come to fruition.
What would you say is the most rewarding part of being a father?
This, I think, experiencing life through his eyes, whether it's like a new toy or a new
That's
experience with the snow, the reward that I get for like investing that time and being with him for these experiences is I'm healing my inner child.
that's awesome.
Um, there's moments I become emotional and I'm like, this is a happy moment. Like, why
Yeah,
am I being emotional? And then I'm just like realizing that there's this inner Logan, this inner child, that is being healed. It's difficult because it's just like each generation of men is different, right? And so it's just like I don't want to like critique the generation of men that came before me because they were raised in the society that they had their experiences and they were the men who they were because of the circumstances they faced. I think our generation is at this place where they want to be a little more emotionally and socially like open-hearted
yeah.
to their children. Like for my father, he brought a lot of great things into my life. The emotional social side, probably not so much. But
Sure.
like my dad coached, he coached like a handful of my football teams, my baseball team a couple times. My boxing background is because of my dad. He's been boxing coaching for about 50 years now. Like that's how I connected with my father, and the life lessons I got from him was through those coaching connections, right? And so there's a lot of great connections and a lot of great less life lessons that can come out of athletics. And I thank my father daily for bestowing those lessons and giving me those skills of becoming a coach. But it's just like there wasn't that open-hearted emotional connection that I had with my father until during my first tour of Iraq, my dad penned some beautiful letters to me, opening his heart and his mind and kind of the history of his life and some of the challenges he faced in his life. I was just thinking, whoa, dude, I was like, you should have hit me with these like a decade ago.
Could you imagine
But
if you've been open
but
this?
that's
Yeah.
that's the circumstances he grew up in, right? Like, how we're saying, like, we were told rub some dirt on it,
Yep.
walk it off, hold it in. And I think there's something to be said too, about some men when they get their grandchildren, right? My dad started softening when he had his grandchildren. I saw this tough, rugged man, uh, blue collar electrician in a paper mill powerhouse for 35 years, boxing coach dad. I see him soften with his grandchildren. And the lesson he gave me was I need to soften now
Well, I
with
love
my
that.
child. It's
Yeah.
not it's not soften when I have grandkids. There's a part of me that needs to soften now for my child. And I hold no angst or ill will towards my father for him, sharing these lessons with me later in life. Uh, it's because I know that he's done the best that he can, and he's done so great with his three children. After I graduated college, I went back and I taught in my hometown for 2 years, and I coached out of my dad's boxing gym. $20, $20 for an annual membership. That's all it is.
Good
In
Lord.
my hometown, there's no Boys and Girls Club. There's no YMCA. And so my dad ran this nonprofit gym, um, pretty much out of his own pocket. And we saw, a lot of kids from the lower socioeconomic class coming into our boxing gym. We saw them coming, from broken homes, coming in with no direction in life and just trying to find belonging. In our boxing gym, it's all about community. We call it a community boxing gym. And we really talk about discipline and self-control in there. If you want to be a boxer, you got to stay disciplined and you got to stay in control in the ring. Because if you get angry and you get wild
Let
in
those
the
emotions
boxing
go.
gym,
Oof.
you're just going to beat yourself. And so we teach those skills in boxing, but then we talk about that. My father and I talk about that, and we give life lessons to these young men who would come in his boxing gym, like just like in that squared circle where you need to stay in control of your emotions, you need to stay disciplined. You need to take those skills and you need to take those out into the real world. And I can tell you, if you can make that translation, it comes a little bit easier than you think, because sometimes when you face a hard time in the real world and you need to stay in control, you don't have someone trying to punch you in the face at the same
Right.
time too. And we've had young men and students that come to that gym that are in trouble at their schools due to violent behaviors. And I can tell you 10 out of 10 times, Victor, when those kids start showing up to our gym, those violent occurrences at school, they
Yeah.
either disappear or they're much less frequent. And so having that outlet is amazing. And it doesn't have to be boxing either. Those outlets don't have to be boxing, but especially burning that physical energy that they have.